Welcome to R3 Tech. This is Ritesh Srinivasan. In this video, let's look at how we can perform multi-model similarity search. Okay, so by multi-model similarity search, what I mean over here is that if you have a database of images and their equivalent text description, given a new image and text description, can you actually use a similarity detection module to find out the top n similar images and their equivalent text descriptions? Okay, if you are new here and if you like such content, please subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. The inspiration for multi-model search is from this Kaggle competition called as Shopee Price Match Guarantee. So here, finding near duplicates in large data sets is an important problem for many online businesses. In Shopee's case, every day users can upload their own images and write their own product descriptions. So the task over here is to identify which products have been posted repeatedly. The differences between related products may be subtle, while photos of identical products may be widely different. Okay, so Shopee is the leading e-commerce platform in Southeast Asia and Taiwan. So the idea over here is that you can have two different images of similar wares, okay, which can either represent the same product or two completely different items. Okay, so the challenge over here is to identify if there are repeated postings of the same product, okay, using maybe slightly different images or product descriptions. So in this particular competition, the data set has close to 30,000 images. So basically you have the train images as well as test images. So there are close to 30,000 images in the train data set. Okay, so now let's look at the images. Okay, so we first import the necessary libraries, for example NumPy, Pandas, TensorFlow. Okay, so then what we do is that we would actually read our train data. Okay, so what I've done is that I've downloaded this data set over here and I've stored it on my local computer. Okay, so when I read in this data set, you see over here you have something called as an posting ID, you have an image, you have an image hash value, you have a title, and you have a label group. Okay, so these images will be present within the train images folder. Okay, so now if you look at the total number of images which are, or total number of data points which are present in the train data set, it is close to 34K. Okay, but this label group over here denotes the product to which this particular description belongs to. Okay, or this posting ID belongs to. Okay, now if you look at the distribution of the labels, we have close to 11K. So we have around 11K products over here. Okay, so now let's look at, for some 10 products, let's look at how the description and how the images look like. Okay, so that is what I am doing over here. I am looping through the I am grouping by the label group, and then I am just looping through 10 products over here, and I am showing 3 images per product. Okay, so for example, if you look at one of the products over here, so you will see that here you have your description and here you have the image of the product. Okay, so here you see another description of the same product and the image. Okay, another description of the same product and the image. The image is slightly different over here. So all these 3 descriptions and the images are of the same product over here. Okay, so now if you look at another product over here, which is wall sticker. Okay, so you can see one description over here and the image, the second slightly different description and the image, okay, of a wall sticker, right? Then you have another product over here which is some collagen, okay, collagen sachet. So you have a description over here, you have slightly different image but a slightly different description but the same product. Okay, So I think you get an idea over here that you can have different descriptions and different images, but they belong to the same product. Okay, so this is how this database is present. Okay, so now what we want to do is that, as I said before, okay, now we have the product images plus their equivalent description. Now given a product image and a text description, can we find the top n similar images and the top n similar text descriptions? Okay, so we are trying to actually find the similar postings over here. Okay, so to do this, what we do is that first we do a split of our data set. Okay, so we use sklearn model selection train test split, very standard thing, and we will stratify because some of the samples may be less in number for some of the products, and our test size is 0.4. Okay, 60% of the data let's use for some kind of training, even though we don't perform training in the traditional sense over here. Okay, so the idea over here is that now given the set of images plus text, can we use a CNN, a convolution neural network, and a transformer on the text part, the convolution neural network on the image part, to get some kind of image representation or image embeddings. Okay, to get some kind of text embeddings from the text, concatenate it for each image and text pair, right, to get some kind of joint embeddings. Okay, now when you have your input image and text, you perform the same set of steps. You use the CNN to get an image embedding, you use the transformer to get a text embedding, you get a joint embedding, right? Now you try to find similarity between this joint embedding and your database of joint embeddings. Okay, using a similarity detection module to give us top n similar images and their text descriptions. Okay, so that's the simple idea over here, right? So I have used MobileNet as the convolution neural network because it is quite fast, so and it is available in TensorFlow. So to get more details on MobileNet, you can look at this particular paper, MobileNet's efficient convolution neural networks for mobile vision applications. I will put the link of this paper in the description of the video. For the text part, I am using BERT, and to understand more about BERT transformer, this is the best resource available, the illustrated BERT by J. Alumnar. Again, the link of this will be put in the description of the video. Okay, so now let's go into how we can extract features. Okay, for BERT based what you call embeddings for the text, I use the sentence transformer library, which is built on top of Hugging Face transformers, and I use the DistilBERT base model over here, and I say that the maximum sequence length of my text would be 128. Okay, 128 tokens. Okay, and for the image, as I told before, I have used MobileNet. So why do I use sentence transformers? I have made another video on sentence transformer as well. The link for the video, I'll put it into the description of the video. So sentence transformer takes as input a sentence and returns a sentence level embedding. Okay, so we want the embedding for this textual description at a sentence level. Okay, so that is what is the use of a sentence transformer over here, right? So this is very simple. You can pass the model which I've instantiated over here and our text, and it will return a text embedding, okay, which is a sentence level embedding for the text or a sentence level representation for the text. Now for the images, what you have to do is that you have to resize it to 224, and what I do over here is that I instantiate a image model. Again, it is very simple. tf keras.applications.mobilenet, input size is this 224/224/3, and I say include top is equal to false. The idea is that if you are not doing classification over here, you are actually trying to extract features from the image. So what we do is that in a CNN, we take the last but one layer, okay, for extracting the features. So we say include top is equal to false over here, and weights is ImageNet. Okay, so one thing to note over here is that I am using pre-trained models as such. I am not training the models or fine-tuning it on my database of images and text. I am using it as such to just see what kind of results I can get. Okay, so to get the image embeddings, what I do is that I load the image over here, right, and then I convert it into a what you call array NP array, and then I pass it to the model, and then I do some kind of reducing the embeddings to its mean over here. Okay, so that is what I do, because I want some kind of a mean feature embeddings. So basically you will get last layer or one but last layer, you will get lot of features, or your features. Those features I am trying to compute mean pooling kind of. Okay, so that is what I am doing over here. Okay, so now in the train data we have close to 20,550 images, right? So what I do over here is that I read the train data, and for each image and text pair I get the image embedding as well as the text embedding, right? And I store it in a dictionary with the posting ID. Okay, so the key is the posting ID. In the text embedding dictionary, the key is the posting ID, and the value is the text embedding obtained by passing the text to the get text embedding function, which in turn will pass the text to the sentence BERT and get a sentence level representation. Similarly, the image, which read the path of which is present within the train images directory. So I get the image path and I pass it to the get image embeddings, which reads in the image and then passes it to the image model and then gets the mean image embeddings. Okay, so I get these things. So now what I do is that I also store it for future use. Okay, but this step for 20,550 images takes around 1,204 seconds on a 16 GB laptop with Intel i7 processor. Okay, so this is CPU based processing, this is not GPU based processing. Okay, so then what I do is that I also store it for future use. Okay, then what I do is that now I try to create a joint embeddings. Okay, so to create a joint embeddings, what I do is that I concatenate, I read for every instance in our train data, I concatenate, I get the text embeddings from our dictionary, I get the image embeddings from our image embeddings dictionary, and I concatenate it over here for our combined embedding or joint embedding. Okay, and I do another processing over here whereby actually I find the norm of the combined embedding and then I divide it over here to create the normal combined embedding. Okay, so this is specifically done for a purpose. I'll be talking about it later. Okay, when I talk about distance measures. Okay, so now we have a set of lists over here. One is our key list, which is about the posting ID. Then we have our image list where the image is present, where a title list where title is present, and then we have our combined embeddings list. Okay, so now if you look at the shapes of our image embeddings and text embeddings, so text is sentence level BERT, right? So you have 768 as the size of a text embedding at a sentence level. For the images, we have 1024 as the size of the image embeddings, mean image embeddings. So the concatenated embeddings will be of the size 1792. Okay, so every text and image pair is now represented using a 1792 feature vector or a joint embedding vector. Okay, of the size 1792. Okay, so now what we do is that now we need to find the similarity, right? So how do we actually find the we have got this joint embeddings now. Okay, now we have to create this similarity detection module. Okay, so for the similarity detection module, the simplest thing we can do is that we can create a nearest neighbor. We can use the nearest neighbor algorithm. So what is nearest neighbors algorithm? Okay, so suppose we want to find the top 5 similar images over here, right? Top 5 similar images and their equivalent text. Okay, so we define a nearest neighbor of 5 over here. So what does nearest neighbor do? So you have these 20,000 vectors over here, right? Feature vectors for your train data. Okay, now we'll pass a image and text again to the mobile net and BERT and get a joint embedding, get an image embedding, text embedding, get a joint embedding for your test image and text. Okay, so now you get this joint embedding vector for this text and image. Now you have to find out the top 5 similar from the joint embeddings of the database. Okay, So for this you can use a very simple algorithm called nearest neighbor. All it does is that it computes the distance between this joint embedding and each of these 20,000 joint embeddings over here, and then you sort that by in a descending order. You sort the distances and then you pick up the top 5 vectors. Okay, so the top 5 vectors will be the most similar to this to this particular test image and the text. Okay, so for that what I am doing is that I am using sklearn neighbors nearest neighbors. I am creating an instantiation of the nearest neighbors class with nearest neighbors is equal to 5 and algorithm is equal to kd-tree. Okay, so to understand about nearest neighbors, you can look at this nearest neighbors explanation from scikit-learn. I will also put this description link of this particular nearest neighbor in the description of the video. Okay, so here one important thing to note is that the metric by default is Euclidean. Okay, but we want cosine distance, right? So it says that the metric could be of distance metric. Okay, so when I go and look into distance metric, it is quite clear that you don't find cosine distance similarity over here. But then you also find sklearn metrics pairwise cosine distances, where it says that the cosine distance is equivalent to the half the squared Euclidean distance if each sample is normalized to unit form. Okay, so that is why in when I am computing the joint embeddings over here, I kind of normalize it to unit form. Okay, so now this also means that in our test data, okay, we should do the same normalization. Okay, so what we do is that to get the nearest neighbor, we can define a simple function over here whereby we pass our joint embedding, which is our query embedding, right, which we try to find the nearest neighbor using k neighbors. What we have defined the function, there is a define the k nearest neighbors model over here. So to that we pass we have this function called k neighbors. We pass our query embedding, okay, and we say neighbors is equal to 5. Okay, so we need to reshape this embedding when we are passing it because it expects a list of embedding, so we have to reshape it, and then we pass it over here and we get the indexes of the neighbors, okay, of the top 5 neighbors basically, and then we can get that index from our posting ID list, okay, from our key list. Okay, so what I do over here is that, so what I'm trying to do over here is that so we'll use the same train data and then we'll try to find out what are the neighbors for say some 100 samples over here, okay, for each entry in our train data. So for that what I do is that for every entry in our key list is nothing but which has our posting list, we use the index and we get the query embedding. Okay, then we pass it to the get neighbors function, which will return us the top 5 neighbors. Okay, and then we append the top 5 neighbors to match list over here. So what we are doing is that this is our our total data, which we have split it into our train data, which is like 20,000 images. There are totally 30,000 images over here. So for the 20,000 images, we have got the joint embeddings. Now we take an image in this one among these 20,000 joint embeddings. We take it and then we pass it over here to the similarity detection module and get the top n similar images and text. Okay, so so we are doing it on the train data itself just to see how our results are. Okay, so I'm not computing new embeddings or anything over here because we have already computed these embeddings for our train data, right? So that's what I'm doing over here. Okay, now let's look at how the results are. Okay, so for that what I do is that I I print the original posting, the original image, I display the original image, and I also display the matching images. So for that I get the title from the title list, I get the posting from the key list, and then I am printing it over here. Okay, so let us see how it comes. Okay, so for every this thing I print the top 5 images, right? So this was our original image, okay, which is about chilled milk or something. This is the description and this is the image. Okay, now the similar images to this are itself, obviously, because we are using the distance, it should match itself, right? Then if you see, it matches some other posting also. So if you see over here, the description, if you see over here, it is chill mill regular 800 grams something. So chill mill regular 800 gram, which matches itself. This is slightly different over here, right? Because you have chill and mill kind of the chilled milk concatenated over here. So slightly different textual description. It matches that, pulls out a slightly pulls out almost the same image. Then there is a slightly different text description, pulls out the same image almost. Okay, but these are different postings over here. So you can see over here the posting is different, this posting is different, right? So then you can see this is slightly different description again. So it is able to pull the slightly different descriptions. Okay, right? So now let's look at the second instance, which is another image. Okay, another text description. This looks like some kind of a dry fruits or something like that. This is in Indonesian, or this is Taiwanese, I believe, the text. Okay, so now let's see if what kind of images and text it pulls which are similar to this description. So over here you see that itself, first it matches, then it starts matching something different, right? But there is a false positive over here, right? So it is trying to match something else over here, so totally different. So this is a problem over here, right? So you can have it, so this is why this model is not accurate over here. It can match something else also, right? So that is what we are seeing over here. So it is able to pull some images which are very similar to our some images and some descriptions which are very similar to our query, but it is also pulling something else. Okay, another example is this particular image. So here over here, if you see that it is pulling something similar but a different book. Okay, some other different game or something over here, but something similar is also being pulled. Okay, something dissimilar also. Okay, so here you have some clothes and some this thing, a description of that over here, some t-shirt description. So let's see what it pulls which are similar to this itself, obviously. Then it is pulling something which is quite similar. Okay, but also something which is totally different. Okay, so this is because you have to actually further fine tune your embeddings. Okay, because I am not pre-training anything over here, right? If you look at this thing, I am not pre-training this mobile net on these images. I am not pre-training this BERT on this text. But assuming you pre-train on this particular images and pre-train on the BERT on the text, your results should improve over here. Okay, you can also further use the product groups, which is the label groups over here, and then try to find out some kind of embeddings for each label group, right? And then you can reduce this joint embedding space, and you can improve the accuracy of your multimodal search. Okay, so here I talked about only the train data, right? Now let's look at the test data. Okay, so for the test data, the image embeddings, the text embeddings are not yet created, right? So I am creating it over here. I am getting the image embeddings, I am getting the text embeddings, and I am also getting the combined embeddings, and I am unit normalizing it. Okay, now what will happen is that now you have a test image, a query for the test image and text, which I am sending it to our nearest neighbors function, and I am getting the nearest neighbors which are close to the test query. Okay, again I am doing it for 100 samples over here. Now let's look at some 10 samples, basically not random exactly, maybe the second 10 or something like that over here. Okay, so what I do is that I print the test query image and text, and then the matches. Okay, so here if you look at this thing, the test query is this thing. Okay, this is again showing as train as posting ID over here, because the test data is also, the test train split was done on our train data. Okay, but this is unseen data over here. We are not using this data to build our joint embeddings. Okay, we are using this data to actually find out from our joint embeddings from our database, which is quite similar. Okay, so this is some kids dress or something like that. Okay, so this is our input image and the text. These are the similar itself. When this cannot be itself, right? Because this is the test image and this is the train, which is totally different, unseen image. So you are getting a similar thing in our train data, but the description is slightly different over here, if you see, right? So here Letitia Kids comes in the end, whereas here it comes in the beginning in the text description. Okay, so here there is another one which is quite similar, which is almost same as our input, another similar as our input, another similar, but the color is slightly different over here. So you can see in these images slight difference is there, right? But they are the same product. Okay, so it's done a quite good job. Okay, but here is a false positive. Okay, now let's take another example. This is for some other kind of dress or something, right? So this is our input query. Okay, the text plus the image. Here you see that it kind of matches, right, for the same dress but different colors. Okay, again some kind of a false positive or something, right? But this is some microwave glow or something like that. So this is our input image and text description. Now if you see over here, it kind of matches. Most of the descriptions are slightly different, but it matches quite well. Okay, but then you can also have some different things. So this is a microfiber. Here also for the microfiber cloth, it kind of matches the other descriptions, but then you also have some other products coming in over here. So in this way, we have actually now built a multi-model search and similarity detection module. Okay, so here you can actually, as I said, you can improve the accuracy by fine-tuning these architectures of the image feature extraction or the image embedding extraction and text embedding extraction on your particular data. Okay, you can also perform some kind of supervised learning if you have some labels over here on the joint embeddings to actually improve the accuracy of the joint embeddings. And then when you pass a test image, you can have test image plus text description, you can have better accuracy. Okay, I hope you find this video useful, and if you like such content, please subscribe to the channel. Also press the bell icon so that you will get notified whenever I create new videos. See you in the next video. Bye for now.